Hi guys, hola hola, just Jasmine. Hope you guys are having a happy Easter for those of you that are celebrating today. For those of you that aren't or are not familiar with what Easter is, it's a time where we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. So without preaching too far into that or going too much into it, I wanted to create a video in the spirit of revival, shall I say. So if you're needing a revival in your finances, this video is for you. And I hope that you actually watch till the end and watch it as many times as you need to in order to instill some of these habits into yourself, or perhaps just to take some of these tips and actually practice them so you can improve your own situation. All right guys, so I want to make this quick and easy. And I just want to, again, kind of get you guys started as far as looking at your finances and trying to make things not so scary. So first thing that I would advise and encourage you to do is to figure out what method is going to work for you. Either you're going to be the kind of person to write things down and be kinesthetic, so that way you can actually keep track of it. It just works for your brain when you actually write and plan things. And then of course there's my other personalities out there that are going to be more electronic and are going to want to just have that on your device, right, consistently. So either method, whatever works for you. Personally, I grew up with my abuela always saying agarra el lápiz, which means grab the pencil. And she would write everything down to keep an eye on every single penny. So it's something that is ingrained in me. So I do get a planner and I do write down all my due dates for when I'm paying bills. So that way for the entire month, I know exactly what I have to pay and when I have to pay it. Now, if you're not so much a kinesthetic person and paper just weighs you down and it's not a good option for you, I get it. We're definitely much friendlier to an electronic world. So I personally am using G Sheets just because I can always have access to it wherever I am, right at the office, at home, in the car, whatever. But the first thing that I would do is just like on your calendar, you're writing down when things are due. I would recommend go ahead and organizing what days they're due, and then writing down the name of the actual bill. Now for electronic purposes, I have actually added the amount of every single bill, so that way I have all my bills laid out, know when I'm gonna have to pay them, and also how much it's gonna be. So if you're kind of going through paper on this, what I would like you to do is finish marking when you owe what, and then taking a moment to either on a separate page or somewhere else list again the numeric value as far as what it is of how much you're gonna pay. So go ahead and write that, get that together. Okay, so now that you know where we're starting off and you know how much you have to pay monthly and when you have to pay everything, I want you to go ahead and, again, electronically or on paper, kind of make a note for yourself of the days that you're getting paid, of when you can expect your income to come in. So for me, I'm looking at the month of April, just an example. I can expect money on the 17th and on the 1st of May. So that's when my money's coming in. When is yours coming in? Write it down. Or on your calendar, put a little reminder, hey, payday is today. All right, guys, so now that you can kind of see when your money is coming in and you know what you have to pay, when you have to pay it, I'm gonna take it a step back to kind of make this a little more clear, I hope. Now, I get paid bi-weekly. That's gonna be different for everyone out there, right? So you just wanna know when your money is coming in. But I just want to break this down into one baby step. So this is what I do to make things not scary. Look into a smaller view, and what I mean by smaller view is kind of taking all of this and breaking it down into a smaller view for at least your next pay cycle. So I'm getting paid every 2 weeks. I'm bi-weekly. For some of you, might be more, might be less. I know I have family members that get paid once a month, like teachers, example, right? So if you're getting paid and you know everything that you have to pay for your 2 weeks or for your month, then you should be able to pay everything on that particular due date. Now, that's not speaking to automatic payments, right? I'm not going to talk about automatic right now. I'm going to talk about things you should pay. So if on the 3rd, I know I have a payment due on the 7th, the 10th, the 16th, then I'm going to pay those bills on the 3rd. Why? So I know, one, my bills are already paid. That causes less stress. When the main things that are really important to you, the priorities, are taken care of, it's gravy. You have nothing to worry about, right? You pay your rent, you pay your bills, you get your food, you pay your phone, whatever those priorities are to you, great. You got those down. Those are the first things that get paid. Now, what does that also do? If you pay all of your bills when you get paid, you're gonna know what you have left over. Left over for the next 2 weeks, left over for the next month, whatever that number is for yourself. Let me tell you what this does, guys, because some of you are gonna hate it. You're gonna be like, oh man, what? I just got paid and I have to pay all of that? Okay, yes, I hear you. It sucks to kind of pay bills, right? I'm gonna stop you there for just a second to help your mentality as you revive this, because finances is something that's gonna exist forever. It's something that you're gonna have to deal with, and in adulthood, the more you face it, the more you get comfortable, the more you learn about it, the better it's gonna be for you. So maybe you didn't grow up in a very financial savvy household. I particularly didn't. It just wasn't something that, I don't know, like, again, every household's different, right? You're gonna have parents that teach about money and like really instill good habits, and then there's gonna be people like my family, not my family, but my family's always guided me the right way. I just think that, my mom, bless her soul, she wasn't the most financially savviest person in the world, and that's okay, but I had to make a few mistakes of my own to kind of learn my own way. So in speaking to that, I would encourage you, when you're doing this, don't look at it like you're paying bills and losing money. You get to pay your bills. Let me say that again. You get to pay your bills. You have an opportunity to take care of yourself and to actually give yourself the things that you need, right? There's going to be people out there that, again, money is really nothing, right? So when you say something like, oh, I'm paying rent, oh, I'm paying my car, oh, I'm paying my insurance, all this stuff, like, do you realize that you have a home? You have a car? I am so grateful for anything that I am paying for, because like, it's my life. It's what I give myself. You can go shopping, you can go splurging, you can go do anything that you want to do and be irresponsible with money and go on trips and go on that. But at the end of the day, what do you have for you? Everyone has their own prerogative when it comes to their money. I encourage everyone to be smart as possible with their money. So right now, when it's an unknown time and you're getting in the habit of trying to get a good mentality of watching your money, you want to watch your money. You want to know what you get to spend your money on. You want to know how you get to create the life that you want to create financially. So again, I'm just gonna like try and take your mentality out of there for a second, and I want you to look at this and say like, great, I get to pay my rent, I get to pay my credit card, I get to pay my car, I get to pay my stuff, and one, I'm actually paying things on time, right? So when I say you get paid and pay all your bills for the next 2 weeks or whatever that time frame is for you, then yes, that's what I mean. You get the money and you immediately pay it. Now, if you're on auto draft, I get it. Your money is not going to come out of your bank that quickly. For some of you, you can do that. You can have auto draft and you'll have the money in your account when they take out that money. For some of you out there, you know that at times you get that fee because they auto draft and you forgot. You went and overspent, right? So if you do something like this, you'll prevent that from happening for yourself. So not overspending and being really prepared for the bills that are coming. So just to give you an idea of what I do when it comes to my bills, you're gonna see here, let me move this a little closer. So you're gonna see here, and this is just kind of a mock-up, but you're gonna see the payments that I have to pay, and then the amount, right? And then of course, like here, I'm getting paid, so great. So I get paid, these are my bills, this is how much I have left for the next 2 weeks. Now, are these real numbers? No, I messed everything up because I don't want you to know everything, but same thing. So for the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna tally all of my bills, and I'm gonna know how much I have to pay. And then I'm gonna add up my paycheck, and then I'll know what I have left over for those following weeks, or for the following month for your case, if you get paid once a month. So however often you get paid, the whole idea of this is for you to pay your bills on time and then understand how much money you have left over. I know for myself, because I get paid bi-weekly, that there's gonna be a moment in the calendar, in the year, where I might have less bills on one check or whatever the case may be, and people get thrown off by it, especially young people. In the sense that they're like, oh man, I didn't have to pay so many bills this particular check. Then they go and spend, but then the next pay cycle, they realize that, oh, some of these payments just didn't fall within that one check. They're later in the month, or again, you didn't plan your money right. So guys, this is just about seeing what's coming. You can do this for yourself weeks, months in advance. I particularly look at my money about 3 months in advance. So that is 3, 6, and just about, I'm gonna say anywhere from 4 to 9 paychecks out. And that's because I just wanna know what's coming, what to expect. All right guys, so overall this video was just more of taking you into a deep dive as far as organizing what you need to pay, know what's coming in, and get a better idea of how much money you have to play with between bills, right? This is gonna be really friendly for my paycheck to paycheck people. That way you get to see what you have. So I'm not gonna go too far into listing any debts down or going into that kind of a conversation. Maybe that's for a later video. If you would like to see something like that, please feel free to comment and take that into consideration. But really guys, what I really wanted to do was, again, to kind of help revive the start or the beginning of you trying to get everything back in focus for your finances. And while you're doing this, I did want to kind of drop a little bit of, again, my own advice. There's 2 things that consistently work for me when it comes to my money. And one of them is giving. The other is thinking abundantly. So giving, I've always noticed, I don't know, if I give, I get it back, and I get it back in other ways than I never thought. So sometimes it's way more beneficial. So if you guys are hesitant, I would just say give a little and see what you get. But again, if you're giving, you want it to be wholehearted, right? So I'm not forcing you, I'm not saying this is what you should do, go and do it and just, see what comes. I'm saying naturally. Naturally give the way that you want to give, whether it's your time or your money. It doesn't have to be money. But the other thought process, thinking abundantly really helps just open up that subconscious part of your brain where it's just like, okay, you're really open to receiving, right? You want to put yourself on kind of that vibration that you want to vibe higher. Yeah, well, vibe higher and think abundantly. And see what comes. So be open to the goodness, be open to the blessings. I hope this is most helpful for you while you're in your own revivals. I really appreciate you watching this. Hope these tips helped. Feel free to subscribe if you want to catch any more of my videos. And thanks so much for your time. This is Just Jasmine, your self-love enthusiast, wishing you health, joy, and growth.